AITA for saying that I can't do any chores in December and following through? I, F30, run a small online business from home. November and December are my busiest time of the year when I make a lot of money that allows me to work less during the year. I've been doing this since I was 25, so I've got a decent idea of what I can and cannot do. And focusing on work only for 1 to 2 months is a sacrifice I'm willing to make for chill rest of the year. This year, I've moved in with my boyfriend, M35. Well, technically he moved in with me because I own the house, so it was a no-brainer for him to move in with me. We split chores half and half. He works full-time, 37.5 hours a week. When he moved in, I had a talk with him letting him know that I can't do any chores in November, December, and asked if he could pick up the slack because I'm physically unable to do any chores as I can be working anything between 12 to 18 hours a day. I take a full January off to decompress. He said he doubted I worked that much, but we will see. I asked again in September and October to make sure he was aware that I won't be doing anything. I meal prepped in advance, and I felt he kind of dismissed me. Mid-November, we had an argument about my chores not being done, and I reminded him of what I told him. He said that he thought I wasn't being serious and told me there's no way he'd do 100% of chores because he's working too. I said fine, don't do my chores, they can wait until I have time. That's how it was when I lived alone, no problem, I don't make much mess anyway. He wasn't happy but dropped it. We haven't seen each other much because I've been working so much, but he's been more and more pissed off and blew up at me today regarding the chores. He said I had to have a better work-life balance and to grow up because the house was a mess. I told him if it was a mess, it was his fault because I barely leave my office. He called me a lazy bitch. I told him Kay didn't have time for arguing and went back working. He stood in front of my locked office door shouting how he couldn't believe I was BMG serious about not doing chores and it was an asshole move to leave it all to him. He thinks I'm a major asshole for basically disappearing for 2 months and following through with not doing chores. Am I really the asshole for saying I won't do chores and following through? Sorry for any typos, I'm on mobile and my autocorrect hates me. NTA. Someone who called me a lazy bitch in my house wouldn't be living in it much longer. That part. Dude would be waking up tomorrow to an official eviction notice. He called you a lazy bitch? That kind of disrespect and rudeness in a relationship would not fly with me and he'd be out. NTA. Wow. Your boyfriend is showing his true colors. Believe him. I know that right now you don't have time to rearrange your life, but once January comes around, you should give yourself the gift of losing the deadbeat boyfriend. For what it's worth, I'm married and both me and my husband have gone through times where we had to pick up the slack for each other for whatever reason. And it's not always a work reason, there could be health issues, the birth of a child, travel and a billion other things that come up. Your boyfriend is showing you that he will throw a fit and call you names whenever he needs to support you. This is bad. Really bad. It should be a deal breaker. I can't agree with this enough. My husband and I caught COVID last week and have a toddler. I insisted my husband stay in bed and that I'd take care of our child while he focused on getting better. I brought him tea and water, whatever he needed, and checked in on him. Well, now that it's kicking my butt, guess who's bringing me juice and ginger ale and tea? Guess who cleaned the kitchen and did all the washing up? Guess who's been entertaining a toddler all day? Guess who let me sleep in until 9 a.m. when our kid decided he was ready to start the day at 5 a.m.? Partners are an asset and a net positive to your life. Deadbeat losers are an expense no one can afford. AITA for leaving a fake positive pregnancy test in the bedroom to catch my husband's mom snooping? My mill moved in with us a month ago. I began to notice my stuff in the bedroom being touched. Furniture rearranged, stuff moved, etc. I felt like I was going crazy because my husband is the only one who has access to the bedroom and he doesn't usually touch nor come near my things. I figured it must be his mom walking in and snooping on my personal things. I told my husband and he said his mom would never. I had a huge hunch but couldn't install a cam in the bedroom to catch her in act. So, I got me one of those fake positive pregnancy tests and threw it in the bedroom's trash can. Note the trash can was placed in the corner near the closet. Literally the next day after I got to work, I got tons of calls and texts from my in-laws, congratulating me for my pregnancy. My husband came over to my workplace and was all worked up about it, asking since when I was pregnant and why I didn't tell him. I asked how he found out and he said his mom found the positive test in the trash can in the bedroom. I asked if his answer just confirmed that she's been snooping in the bedroom all along. He had a realization moment but demanded we stick to the bigger issue. I said there was no bigger issue because the positive test was fake and this whole thing was done to expose my snooping. He was not convinced. He had me take an actual test right in front of him and he was livid, asking how could I lie about such thing and break his mom's heart since I know very well that she longs for kids. I got a lot of shit because of this from him, his mom and family now calling me a liar and manipulator. AITA? Important info. Nothing gets takes or goes missing from the bedroom. Just to be clear. NTA, but ordering a lock for the door and kicking Mill out seems easier. If you were preg, how dare she announce it? So many red flags, one of you needs to go and it shouldn't have to be you. Seriously, in no way, shape or form is she entitled to announce another person's pregnancy. NTA. You told no lies. Even if you were pregnant, she had no right to announce it to the world. Sounds like one of you girls should move out. I wonder which one your husband would prefer. My vote is for opt to move out. Husband is upset about the wrong thing in this incident. NTA, but it sounds like you have a husband problem as well, since he was focused more on you breaking his mom's heart instead of her 1. Snooping in your marital bedroom, and 2. Her blabbing her mouth to everyone instead of immediately going to you and your husband. Of course, snooping is terrible and deeply disrespectful, but it's made even worse by how she went behind your back to spread the news without any confirmation or follow-up. And she's like this about a pregnancy. I imagine she just has zero respect for anyone's privacy or boundaries at all. Yikes. I would not want to raise a family around someone like that. I also have a weird fear that Op should check her birth control. Who knows what Mill is doing in there? If my husband ever demanded I take a pregnancy test in front of him, I would tell him only if he puts his head in the toilet while I do it. I know I shouldn't laugh, but couldn't help myself after looking at your response. It's true.